In 1990 spring, the beautiful scenery in front also lovely. Two friends were watching girls playing volleyball on the beach. Aikichi and Ryuji were two people who were highly respected at Shonen School. Two people who were nicknamed Onibaku were very famous everywhere because of their solidarity in leading Shonen School when fighting with other schools. But on the other hand, Aikichi and Ryuji are already bored with the life they live every day, only spending it on brawls. Even though behind this beautiful scene are two groups that are fighting each other and grappling at schools. Shonen School fights a motorcycle gang from another school. These two people ignored their comrades who asked for help to join the fight, and have a wonderful life playing with beautiful girls on the beach. But it was just an empty dream. These girls screamed in fear, thinking they were delinquents. The Coast Guard turned out to be a Yakuza. He was chasing them with anger. They had no choice. They joined Shonen's colleagues to fight. Finally, because they were bored with the life of motorcycle brawls and unclear scuffles, they both made a false confession, an announcement that they had both been expelled from Shonen School. Two people their colleagues highly respected were released sadly. The other students very devastated, two leaders were removed. This duo gave a message to their comrades. From now on is your era. They can finally get out of this delinquent life and chase their dreams. Of course, playing with girls has a girlfriend and a peaceful life. These two people mock the comrades they left behind, who aspire to the dream of becoming a Yakuza is an empty dream. They don't want to be looked down upon by society. From now on, they will look for love and a better life. The saloon keeper named Ryuko mocks them. They will not succeed with their lousy personality. They are just bad people and will be single for a lifetime. They'd also see a magazine about an island and resort. There will be a lot of parties and single women. They decided to have a vacation there. Saw the girls playing in the pool. They were very excited, especially one of them greeted them and asked for a drink. But it was just an empty dream. They failed again. Two charming girls caught their attention. Had atmosphere was messed up by a group of guys messing around the swimming pool. They both decided to leave there. They tried their luck at a nightclub. This nightclub is the place where single girls hang out. They tried to observe the situation. The two cute ladies they saw in the pool earlier passed before them. But these two girls were disturbed by a group of delinquents from Osaka. Forced these two girls to play with them, of course. These two women refused. And suddenly, Aikichi and Ryuji also attracted the attention of these two women by becoming heroes trying to protect them. Aikichi asked for this to be solved outside. These people pulled them both. Confidently will finish off these two people who seem weak. Finally, Ryuji and Aikichi become the butts of this group of people. But they are a famous Onibaku duo. These two girls are worried about the two young men who helped them. It turned out to be outside this group of delinquents, lying on the floor. These two girls were immediately happy and took them to the hotel to treat their wounds. This leader of the delinquent saw the ID card Aikichi, who had fallen. These two people, who were only slightly injured, were finally invited to the hotel by these two women. They treated their wounds. These two girls are named Ayumi and Mariko. These two people were happy and grateful for stopping being school thugs. These two girls admitted they were female students from Tokyo, and these two young men also realized they were students of medicine from Tokyo. It makes these two girls very excited. It's a doctor candidate. Aikichi confidently took out his magic rubber and shared it with Ryuji. These two people are excited. Their happy hearts are pounding. Is it time for their virginity to let go? These girls arrange a plan. Mariko will take Aikichi to the swimming pool, while Ayumi will be with Ryuji in their room. They can't miss this opportunity. Aikichi and Ryuji have prepared themselves by taking many harmful breath-busting drugs to get through this long night. Because of consuming this medicine, it isn't suitable for the Onibaku duo. When he was with Ayumi, Ryuji suddenly pretended to be excellent. He stopped it, wanted to get to know Ayumi further, and excused himself from the room. Ryuji had a stomachache from eating lousy breath medicine, similar to Aikichi's condition in the swimming pool. During that fun time will arrive, suddenly his stomach couldn't be compromised. These two people met in the lobby, blamed each other, and shouted for a toilet, especially since there was only one toilet. Ryuji was forced to beat up Aikichi and apologize. These two girls look sad, whether they are too cheap, until those two doctors' student candidates left them. They still need to exchange addresses. The fate of these two delinquents is a shame. The Fujiko High School is just a regular school for ordinary students. It turns out that the Onibaku duo decided to enroll as new students at Fujiko High School, and unexpectedly, These two people met Ayumi and Mariko again. These two girls, it turned out that the teacher at this school. An unexpected meeting with these four people. They were shocked, cursed each other, and accused them of fraud. This duo got angry. These two young girls turned out to be older. A group of delinquents who found the ID of Aikichi stormed into Fujiko High School. The students were scared. This leader is named Okuno. He screamed angrily. This act is the result of looking for trouble with them. The Onibaku duo came out. The other students were scared when they were about to be attacked by these thugs. This duo came forward, going to clean this up. They're so violent and brutal. This bunch of thugs beat up quickly. Okuno beat Onibaku duo fraudulently. But he was beaten. He beat up. Onibaku screamed. They will take on every fight. After the battle, unfortunately, the identity of the Onibaku duo as champions finally was discovered. It was known by all the students of Fujiko High School. It made all the students of the school afraid because the name Onibaku was indeed known as a vicious delinquent. These two people were disappointed. Even though they helped the students, these two young teachers were disappointed. They didn't expect the famous Onibaku duo to move to their school. And then Ayumi and Mariko treat their wounds. Ayumi ensures that the Onibaku duo will not be expelled from Fujiko High School. These two teachers have high dedication even though they are delinquents. They believe these two people will change. They will not abandon their students. These two people are very impressed with the attitude of these two female teachers. They were introduced in front of the class by Ayumi. It turned out that the classroom was filled with delinquent children, the most naughty and lazy of the students at Fujiko High School. Aikichi and Ryuji were forced to put on friendly and smiling faces. Two students named Makoto and Tsukai came at them in a whimsy fashion, but these two people turned out to be their fans. They respected Onibaku. Ryuji immediately refused and told these two people to leave. They had left the world of thuggery. These two people were disappointed and tried to seduce them. A girl named Ito also intervened but was immediately kicked out. Makoto has an exciting offer for both of them. Next week is the Ellis School Festival, the high-class girls' high school. The students are beautiful and rich. Without an invitation, no one is allowed to enter. Makoto immediately issued tickets. These two people were immediately tempted. They will make the Onibaku clan in this school. Entering the festival and meeting beautiful girls is more important than anything for these two people. While Ayumi and Mariko get news from the principal that there will be a new guidance counselor for students named Mina Minoyoko. This teacher is known to be very strict and disciplined. At the same time, these two people are very respectful to the duo and praise them. Makoto asked one thing. There was gossip going around outside. These two people had slept with 100 girls, and these two people were immediately stunned. Even though they are still virgins, they want to date, but it never works. The stupid thing is, these two people show off that they have had more than 10 exes. These two people are even more furious and tell them to shut up. Two people are sitting in a small cafe. This place is indeed visited by many delinquent students who skip school. These two people named Kamada and Sajima. The two famous delinquents are nicknamed Mad Dogs in their area, and they moved to the Osaka area. Coincidentally, the shonen students talked about the greatness of their former chairman duo, who had moved to Fujiko High School. These two people laughed and mocked. It made the shonen school students angry. The fight could not be avoided. These two people were very formidable. Shonen students were not their opponents. These two people arrogantly said Onibaku was not their opponent, and they were then left there. The day they were waiting arrived. The festival of Ellis schools will be held on that day. These four people come to Ellis School. They are excited. At the gate, there are full of beautiful girls. They also went inside to take a look at the atmosphere. Tsukai whispered it was a rumor that these girls would give their hearts to the one they liked at this festival. The Onibaku duo gets more excited. The people scramble the tickets for the event. The price of tickets is high. Swiftly, Makoto took out the tickets for matchmaking on the stage. The price is costly, and immediately, Makoto took out the VIP blue ticket to these two Onibaku. And the matchmaking event started. Aikichi and Ryuji turned out to be targeting the same girl named Aina. Confidently, Ryuji approached, but Aikichi with confidence also gets closer. Aina then chooses Aikichi. Ryuji immediately got dazed and came out of there. At school, Aikichi proudly showed off that he got a girlfriend at the Ellis Festival. While Ryuji, of course, was gloomy and cursed at Aikichi. Moreover, Aikichi was proudly going to skip class this afternoon. He had a date with Aina. Of course, Ryuji got angry and cursed at him. Aikichi with his borrowed car to pick up Aina. They will have a date this afternoon. Moreover, Aina admitted that this was her first date with a guy, and Aikichi promised to always take care of her. When they were going to leave, he was intercepted. This new teacher, Minami, doesn't match his looks. This new teacher picked up Aikichi, who skipped school. Aikichi was thrown into the class. This man introduces himself. He is Minamino Yoko. The students' dreams are immediately destroyed, and the name that looks like a girl turns out to be a scary gentleman. This person with a dictator leads the class. All orders are absolute. Tomorrow they are asked to come with neat hair. Because his first date failed, the next day, Aikichi decided to go to Aina's house, and coincidentally the situation at Aina's home was empty, so her parents went. Aikichi took out his magic rubber and said, "They are sitting in the living room." Aina reminds Aikichi about her promise and hugs him. That dream was broken again. Suddenly, there was a sound of a baby crying, and it turned out that Aina already had a child. She gave birth last year. Aikichi immediately got shocked and intended to leave, but Aina's parents got home. Aina introduces Aikichi to her parents, who will be the father of her child. Her parents were pleased and crying happily, but Aikichi rejected it and immediately ran away. Both Aina's parents were angry and chased after him. The male students were gathered in the counseling guidance teacher's room. Minami checked their hair and bag. One of them was caught carrying adult magazines and was punished very harshly. At the same time, Ayumi and Mariko were walking to that room. This teacher's act got more. Tsukai, who knew who saved Ito's photo, was slapped. It made the Aikichi couldn't take it anymore. He demanded this teacher apologize, but Minami asked them to come tomorrow with bald heads. The Onibaku duo against this teacher slammed him hard. He had already missed the principal. Ida, the principal, came angrily. He screamed he would expel the Onibaku duo immediately from school. But the other students defend them, including Ayumi and Mariko. Because Minami's teacher was wrong, he had gone too far. He was asking that these two people not be expelled. Ayumi and Mariko threatened to resign if the principal removed the Onibaku duo. Ida certainly didn't want to lose his best teacher. He canceled deporting these two people. At the cafe yesterday, Tsukai and Ito were chatting, the same place as the shonen students who got beat up yesterday. Suddenly the group of thugs sitting there scolded Tsukai, who was joking with Ito. Tsukai, a good-natured one, resisted, wanting to show off, but it turns out these people many. Tsukai is being beaten to a pulp. While one of the students screams for help from the Onibaku duo, Tsukai is to be beaten to a pulp in the cafe next door. Even though Tsukai fights back, he gets hit. Ito, who couldn't bear to see him scream, they are Onibaku's friends. These thugs immediately stopped and apologized, then paid for the medical expenses. They all got scared hearing the name Onibaku. But their bad luck hasn't stopped. Two mad dogs, Kamada and Sejima, came there. They heard Tsukai was Onibaku's friend, and Onibaku duo came too late. Tsukai already beat up and battered. Ito scolded the Onibaku duo, who arrived late. Makoto realized someone was targeting Onibaku, two crazy dogs from Kyuken. Because there was a mark they left in the parking lot. Aikichi dreams of being a teacher. He enters the class and is given a greeting by the students, and suddenly, he is bullied by his students because of his status as a virgin. Aikichi woke up and screamed. Makoto, Tsukai, and Ito laugh at Aikichi, who had that dream in daylight. Ryuji looks at chatting with Ayumi. Ryuji really thanks for the help of Ayumi yesterday. These two people looked familiar, especially Ayumi was a bit embarrassed to talk to Ryuji. She even gave Ryuji an assignment he had to get a score 80. Ryuji said he would succeed and would ask for a gift from Ayumi. That made Ayumi uncomfortable and shy. Aikichi peeked at it, looked very annoyed, and went from there. Makoto, who was walking in the hall, was cracked by two students. He had to give them 2 buns in the canteen. Makoto, who was feeling close to Onibaku duo, refused it. These two people threatened he would feel the consequences if the 2 school champs were punished and returned from leave. He got the risk, but Makoto kept fighting and refused. It turned out that Sejima and Kamada were Fujiko school students. These two people immediately went free from punishment and back to school. These two people immediately bullied Makoto. Since he was close to Onibaku, he became arrogant. Sejima will give a task for him. Aikichi, Tsukai, and Ito were sitting in the cafe and chatting. Makoto came with a gloomy face. Aikichi invited Makoto to get out. Tsukai and Ito worried about the Onibaku duo, who look tenuous and don't get together. Much more so, two hotshot school troublemakers returned. After school, Makoto accompanied Aikichi to spy on Ryuji and Ayumi, who were together at the bowling alley. They looked delighted. Aikichi, who saw Ryuji and Ayumi, looks furious and thinks that Ryuji left him. He was not having fun, and he was heartbroken. These two people got closer. Even though they were students and teachers, it turned out that Ryuji's only goal was to be able to date and let go of the status of his virginity. Ayumi came out of the bathroom. This girl will give herself up for Ryuji because she also likes him. Ayumi only asks for one thing: if he is serious with her. After graduating, he gets work immediately and marries her. She wants to have a child quickly. Ryuji is a bit panicked. He hasn't thought that far. It turns out that Ayumi's request is heavier. She wants Ryuji to stop fighting and get out of Onibaku. Aikichi, who follows these two people getting desperate, he sees Ryuji and Ayumi in the hotel. He felt that Onibaku would disband after this. He was intending to leave there. Makoto tried to persuade him, but he happened to be meeting his girlfriend. His girlfriend brought her friend. What if he also joins? Aikichi immediately became enthusiastic. Makoto then invites Aikichi somewhere, but it turns out that Aikichi has been framed. Sejima and Kamada had been waiting there, fraudulently attacking Aikichi. It turned out that these people had threatened Makoto to bring Aikichi here. Aikichi didn't expect Makoto to betray him. Makoto immediately apologized. Sejima and Kamada beat up Aikichi, who was already helpless. Makoto felt very guilty. Even though he had resisted, these people were too many. Aikichi mocked these people who could only play dirty and ganged up on him. Even though he had been taken down, but Aikichi was always raised. They are brutally injured Aikichi's hand. Mrs. Ayumi, who was teaching, was surprised to see Ryuji, Aikichi, and Makoto were not present in class, while these two people were getting worse at school. Even a student who dared to fight back, they beat barbarically. These two people didn't care about cheating. The important thing is they could win. Makoto is forced to be an errand for these people again. Tsukai and Ito report to Ryuji, who is busy thinking about his future. These two people scold him. Their school is in trouble, messed up by two mad dogs, Sejima and Kamada. But Ryuji still doesn't care. After hearing Aikichi's news, he immediately panicked to the hospital. He was furious to see Aikichi, who was dying, and asked what happened to him. But Aikichi was already angry with Ryuji. He didn't care about Onibaku anymore. He better go back to Ayumi and continue dating. Ryuji is not his friend anymore. With this appointment, Ryuji left there. Ryuji and Onibaku Pride Clothes came to where the Sejima and Kamada gangs gathered. But these two people were not there, only the subordinates, and were immediately beaten up brutally by Ryuji. These people brought them battered and brought by ambulance. Ayumi comes to the hospital and meets Akishi. But Aikichi still thinks much about his friend. He said Ryuji likes Ayumi, please guide him. It doesn't matter, Onibaku must disband as long as Ryuji is happy. But Ayumi denies it. Ryuji never left him. He never intended to leave Onibaku. He has asked Ryuji to choose her and stop fighting, get out of Onibaku, but Ryuji rejects it. Aikichi is the most valuable friend for him in this world. He can't leave him and apologizes to Ayumi. Aikichi finally realized what happened. Ryuji arrives at the Sejima headquarters in Kamada. His subordinate who blocked him was made exposed and got injured. Finally, these two frontmen came out. His men immediately surrounded Ryuji. Makoto, it turned out that these two people are back to foul play and attack Ryuji. They're very proud to beat the famous duo Onibaku. But Ryuji gets up and says Aikichi is much stronger than him. They can only play cheat. These guys did together and want to beat Ryuji. That's when Aikichi comes in Onibaku uniform, and if these two guys get together, they don't have an opponent. These two mad dogs were not worthy opponents. They were beaten very badly. These two men's men immediately got scared and ran away, leaving their boss. Kamada stood up and took out a knife, still intending to attack, but Komodo beat this person. Tsukai and Ito are also arriving there. They blamed Makoto, who betrayed them. But Aikichi denies it. Makoto never left them. Makoto was immediately moved and praised by Tsukai and Ito. The Onibaku duo reunited and solved the problem. Two Onibaku were eating at the cafe and suddenly Makoto came. Makoto turned out to be showing photos of grade 1 girls he had taken. In the list of female students who are beautiful in one grade, Makoto is the expert. Aikichi is pointing at one of the girls who looks cutie in the photo. It turned out to be Makoto's ex and made him angry. Next to them sat a young couple. The girl cried because she was broken up suddenly and decided to beg her boy. The boy remained cool and refused. They were amazed. There was a playboy who was very good at playing with women's feelings. Ayumi introduces a new student in front of the class. It turns out that it's the guy they saw yesterday. This guy is Abe Hiroshi, the conqueror of women, also made the Onibakyo duo pissed when they saw him. Ayumi asked him to sit on the empty bench at the back, but he chose Ryuji's seat. Ryuji was very annoyed and didn't want to move. He was starting to get emotional. Ayumi made an annoyed face. She didn't want there to be a commotion in her class. She was given the code, so that Ryuji had to move. Ryuji forcibly budges, moving in annoyance. During break time, Abe took out his skills in seducing girls. None of the girls refused his seduction. The female students immediately became attached to him. Still, his arrogant attitude made the male students dislike him, especially Ryuji, had considered him an enemy of Onibaku, and told Aikichi to give him a lesson. Aikichi approached Abe. Unexpectedly, Aikichi even asked him to be friends. He wanted to study with this person. Abe impressed Aikichi. He frankly wanted to be famous like Abe, and he wanted Abe to introduce girls to him. Ryuji got annoyed with his arrogant attitude and challenged him, but Abe told him to be nice to him. He will teach him to be popular. This offer to hook a girl made Ryuji change his mind and immediately respect Abe. The Onibakyo duo willingly follow this guy. On holidays, they refresh their minds by swimming. Makoto, Tsukai, and Ito join in there. Today, the Onibakyo duo will take a private course with Abe. Abe to approach them. At that time, Abe gave 3 tips to attract women. The first thing they need to do is show charm that makes them melt. And second, it is undoubtedly a rag, because a girl will be amazed if it is correct. Abe gives an example for them. He will flirt with 4 girls at once as well. The Onibakyo duo is dubious because the 4 of them are girls who recently debuted on TV. Abe also starts his rag. He displays elegant charms to entice the girls, and then flirts with inviting them to eat together at a famous restaurant. These girls were captivated by his seduction. Ryuji and Aikichi were stunned by Abe's expertise. In the parking lot, these girls were amazed to see Abe's modified car and asked them to get into the car. This Onibakyo duo shouted, "What are the last tips?" Abe asks them to come at 05 M at Misaka Street, and then going with these girls. And it turns out that when they were in the parking lot, they met 2 of their old enemies, Sejima and Kamada. But both of them didn't hold grudges against the Onibakyo. They apologized, hoping they would forget the old problem. These 4 people have the same problem. They are single and don't have a girlfriend. Sejima is trying to get acquainted with one girl who wants to swim, but instead, he is mistaken for a yakuza. And again, 2 girls passed by. Aikichi also shows the results of their course with Abe. Aikichi approaches 2 girls in the queue, practicing the knowledge he got from Abe. A beautiful girl named Kaoru is captivated by Aikichi's seduction, and they are acquainted. Aikichi also admits that the people who are gawking behind are not his friends. These 3 people can only be jealous of Aikichi. The Onibakyo duo is waiting for Abe, as promised yesterday. Ryuji made sure that Aikichi had got the phone number of the girl in the swimming pool yesterday. From afar, someone is running to deliver newspapers from one house to another. They were amazed knowing that that person was Abe. The last tip is money. Because everything needs money, women will be fascinated by persistent men working for money. Ryuji is repairing a motorbike at his senior workshop at Asami. He remembers his promise to Ayumi. He asks if opening a repair shop takes a lot of capital. This man answers quite a lot. A group of motorbike thugs is playing billiards at their headquarters, and suddenly, a group of people come. These people are looking for a problem, and many more members of their motorbikes went after that. These people were still trying to warn them. They are Sejima's friends, the mad dogs from Kamakura. But the leader of this person came and named Fumiya. He was looking for Sejima and Kamada, and that day, Ryuji took Ayumi to hang out. Ryuji admits he will comply with her request. After graduating high school, he will open a repair shop and live happily with her. But it turns out that the boss of the Fumiya motorcycle gang follows them. On a bridge, Ayumi stopped, looking in the distance. She had terrible memories of this bridge and apologized for not being severe with Ryuji. She used to have a motorcycle boyfriend like him. But before Ayumi's story was finished, Fumiya was already there and said to be careful not to be deceived by this woman, and this man sped up. Fumiya's motorcycle gang started cracking down and intimidating students in the area. They were required to deposit every day. Sukai and Abe are on the way home seeing this incident. This motorcycle gang was rumored to ride in their area. Abe intervened and told them to stop. The fight could not be avoided. Sukai and Abe beat up these people. These guys cheated with tear spray and beat Abe and Sukai. Their next target was Sejima. These people target students from Fujiko High School, moving to beat up Sejima, but Sejima fights back. And it was defeated because this person cheated. Ryuji was talking about his plans with Aikichi. After graduating from high school, he will move to open a workshop. He wanted to be serious with Ayumi. Aikichi's reaction was quite happy. He was pleased with his friend's dream, and Aikichi was also in love with a girl named Koru. But suddenly, Komodo came with bad news. Their friends were attacked, making these two people disappointed. Still talking about love, were even invited to go for a fight. Fujima's motorcycle gang struggled to control the place where Sejima's friends gathered. Of course, making Sejima and Kometa couldn't accept that. The two of them came there wanting to avenge their actions the other day. One of them immediately contacted his other friends gathered. The fight would not be avoided. These two people fought many people. These people were still cheating. And their leader Fumiya came. Of course, they dared to gang up. All the motorbike members came to surround Sejima and Kometa. Kometa, who wanted to attack Fumiya, was stabbed. Sejima got panicked to see the state of his friend. That's when Ryuji's group came. He knew the motorcycle man on this bridge and screamed. Fumiya replied, asking your girlfriend. They couldn't catch up because they had to take care of Kometa. And they immediately called an ambulance. Aikichi was curious. What was Ayumi's relationship with the motorcycle gang boss? Kometa immediately got medical treatment and surgery. All his friends were waiting in panic outside. A middle-aged woman and a young girl came. It turns out that Kometa is Koru's brother, a girl with a crush on Aikichi. Ayumi and Mariko also came. Two policemen also came there to ask what happened. Detective Yuta mocked Onibaku, who turned out to be still a delinquent. The detective asks who stabbed Kometa, but Onibaku refuses to answer it. They will solve this problem on their own. But Ayumi is curious to chase Ryuji. Ryuji also asks who the longish man on the bridge is. Ayumi can't answer. What's even crazier is that Fumiya comes to storm the hospital. These two police prevent those who want to fight. Fumiya even dares to attack the police. Before he left, he said he would repay Ayumi for everything she did. At the usual cafe where they hung out, Ayumi finally said who Fumiya is. Ayumi admitted that Fumiya was the younger brother of her fiancé before. Her fiancé was a motorbiker. Their relationship was excellent. Fumiya was very close with his brother Nato. An accident occurred on that bridge. Ayumi managed to survive, but her fiancé Nato died. And Fumiya, who was very close to his brother, was so angry. He blamed Ayumi. Why is she the only one who has lived? Since the past, Fumiya has a grudge against her. He could not forget that incident for a long time. When Ryuji came to her, she wanted to move on and make a new life, but now Fumiya has returned. Makoto and Abe came and had terrible school conditions. They were targeting people who knew Onibaku. Koru also came looking for Aikichi. Koru invited Aikichi to accompany her for a walk. She was thanking him for caring for her older brother Kometa. The Fumiya gang came to Koru's school and kidnapped her from there. And Ayumi, who was laying flowers on the bridge, was also kidnapped by Fumiya. These two girls are locked up in a warehouse. Fumiya only cares about his revenge. He will eliminate Ayumi and those who close to her. This person has been blinded by his grudge. He will provoke Ryuji, her boyfriend, and his Onibaku friend. Everything will end here. Ito came to bring something to class. A person threw this in front of the school. It was Koru and Ayumi's belongings, and there was a message on the paper, the location, and where they had to come. The Onibaku duo were furious and left the classroom. With motorbikes and uniforms of pride, they moved. These people closed the road, and Onibaku came. Ryuji said today, he will teach them a lesson with his two fists. The people who lived in the past cannot continue their life. These two people wanted to crash into Onibaku, but it didn't work. Fumiya immediately ran away and was chased by Ryuji. Now all that was left was the subordinate. Aikichi is screaming they're just losers who must be taught a lesson, while Ryuji makes a noise with his motorbike, chasing Fumiya. Sneaky, Fumiya attacked Ryuji's motorbike and fell from the bridge. He was delighted for Ryuji to fall, but Onibaku couldn't be defeated that easily. Ryuji climbed from a bridge, and Fumiya started to fear fighting this madman. He was not Ryuji's opponent, just to be the target of punches. But Ryuji didn't kill this frustrated man. He said if a man already likes someone, he will do anything. Those are the exact words his brother Nato noted. He was just blinded by revenge. Has he been wrongly led astray by hatred? Fumiya catches up with his brother, but Ryuji saves him. Giving him advice, instead of dying, he must dare to live his life. Everyone lives their grief. All of Fumiya's gang is caught. The girls are rescued. Kaoru immediately hugged Aikichi. She was terrified, and Aikichi also expressed his feelings. But Kaoru shook her neck. She couldn't apologize and leave there. Aikichi failed again. Ayumi could only see Ryuji, who was waiting for her. Fumiya must be responsible for all that he did. He was arrested. Ryuji cats up to Ayumi and expresses his seriousness. Let's go together from this city. This city makes her remember the bad memories. Ryuji will be waiting for her at the train station tomorrow morning. They will leave this city together. But Ayumi never comes. This journey of love from the Onibakyo duo is indeed sad. Aikichi came to pick him up at the station, comforting Ryuji, who had a broken heart. They both have the same fate. The girl they like doesn't welcome their feelings. Aikichi says love was rejected. It hurts more than getting beat up by the enemy. The next day, Mariko comes to the roof, where the Onibakyo crowd hangs out. She conveys Ayumi's message. She resigns from school and hands over a letter to Ryuji. Ryuji reads it immediately. Ayumi apologizes she can't be with Ryuji. She realizes she hasn't been able to forget her past. She will continue her job as a teacher in another city. She doesn't want to take Ryuji's happiness with his friends, enjoy his youth. She doesn't want to be a burden for Ryuji, Ayumi, or whoever loves him. Kamada, who had recovered, asked Ikisi to talk. Kamada revealed a secret, why Kaoru can't accept Aikichi's love. Because Kamada Kaoru is a man. Aikichi came to Kaoru's school. Aikichi has gotten luckier. His love story is always weird. Kaoru apologizes, won't forget him, but realizes she doesn't deserve him. One day he will find a girl who is suitable for him. The new school year starts. New students arrive. Aikichi and Ryuji begin to continue their school life, hoping to be a senior and create a unique love story. But what is unexpected is Ryuji, Aikichi, Sejima, and Kamada stayed in class. Because they had so many flocks that they did in the last semester, they were ridiculed by other students. Aikichi, who didn't accept and had the intention to quit school, but Makoto comforts him, saying leaving class is not a bad thing because they can mingle more with this new girl who is much cuter. This situation is an opportunity for them to get a unique love story. These four people are stunned to imagine the beauty of the new students. That's right, looking at the sideways comparison, there's only Ito. They step up surely to the new class. They entered the class with geeky and bespectacled-like students who were doing well, so they didn't look like thugs anymore. But they are shocked after joining the class. They hope that class is a chance to meet a sweet girl who is gone. Because the class was filled with delinquent students, it was a particular class for naughty students with low grades. Two students came at them with thug style, like Makoto and Tsukai used to be. Almost all the students in the class have for a long time amazing to them. They all give their respect. It wasn't the situation they expected. They were those who didn't want to be involved in being thugs again, trying to get out of this situation. But a girl immediately shouted at them for blocking the entrance. Aikichi is fascinated by this girl. This girl is quite cute, and he asked her to get acquainted. But who would have thought this girl would kick Aikichi's balls? They all laughed, and a group of students came in. They claimed to be from Kate Gang, which would rule this school. They are who those who live in class have no right to be heroes in this class. Their leader, Katsuyuki, they will beat up the seniors in the same class. Sejima almost can't hold back his emotions. Mariko entered the class and stopped them. During recess, they looked awkward to mingle in. They hoped for a peaceful school life and a high school love story. But they are back at the class full of thug students. A group of naughty students is watching a female student who used to kick Aikichi's balls earlier. These female students seem to hold grudges against a girl named Fujisaki Shinomi. They intimidated her and asked her to go behind. Ryuji also remembered something. He had heard the name Fujisaki Shinomi. They'd also observed Shinomi. They were looking for her faults, but Shinomi didn't fear. She is beating these female students. Edo, who peeped out, saw the greatness of this girl. A new student is just walking and being bullied by his upper-level students. Casually he headbutted and beat these three people. This student is the gang leader Kate, Sumeto Katsuyuki, and he headed for the roof of the school. When Sejima and Kamada were gathered accompanied by one of his men, he challenged them. Senior students who didn't go to next class will beat these people, and he will be the ruler of the school, Fujiko. Abe tried to fight back. He was made to bend down with his kicks. Sejima and Kamada are laughing at Abe, who a first grader beat him. Katsuki shouted. He entered Fujiko High School for the sake of his seniors, whom he greatly respected. He would rule this high school for his seniors. Kamada and Sejima advanced to beat Katsuki. He was too fast against them. That's when the Onibaku duo came to the roof. Katsuki immediately saluted and bowed his head. Aikichi recognized him. Unexpected that his junior school was at the same high school as him. Ryuji introduces the two mad dogs to Katsuki. Katsuki got shocked Onibaku, and the two mad dogs be a friend. He immediately apologizes to Kamada, Sejima, and Abe for his act before. The two mad dogs didn't expect the seniors in question to be Aikichi and Ryuji. It turned out that Katsuki had ordered his other members to attack the people on the rooftop. Katsuki, shocked by the actions of his men. It was too late to stop them. Katsuki, shy, asks if they are the Onibaku duo and the mad dog Kamakura who he respects. These four people are furious. Not accepting the actions of Katsuki's men, they took out their anger for those both, and they both was beaten up. Shinoni waited for Aikichi in front of the class to ask why Aikichi didn't remember her. Ryuji immediately said that Shinami was his childhood neighbor, a geeky girl who pretended to be a thug but turned out to be beautiful. Aikichi laughed and didn't expect it. Shinami suddenly comes back and kicks Aikichi's balls. Ito caught up with Shinami and asked if she had any unique feelings for Aikichi. Suddenly a car approached them to pick them up and forced Shinami into the car. It turned out that this group of delinquent schoolgirls was a gang called Shonen Princess. This girl named Atsuko. It's been a long time since he disliked Shinami. They deliberately made trouble with her. She ordered her members to beat up Shinoni, but they were all defeated. Now it's Atsuko to take on everything. These two girls exchanged blows. Atsuko defeated. A car came, and a woman got out of this car. It turned out she was the leader of this girl's gang named Miki. She was angry because her subordinate was humiliated by a high school girl, scolding Atsuko, who beat by Shinami. Miki attacked Shinami. She took out a razor blade and intended to injure Shinomi's face. That's when the Onibaku duo came with Ito. Aikichi told them to stop. Fellow girls didn't deserve to be struggling. Miki didn't accept it and wanted to beat up the Onibaku duo. Of course, that was impossible. Aikichi seduces the leader of this thug girl. Because defeated, Miki calls someone from the care. A Yakuza came out and threatened Onibaku duo. Onibaku duo usually wants to avoid getting into trouble with the Yakuza. Aikichi and Ryuji apologize to this Yakuza. This person intends to bring Shinami to their office to give her a lesson. But Shinami refuses. This Yakuza gets angry and slaps her. Aikichi most abstains from seeing people hitting girls and telling him to stop. This Yakuza is angry these two young men dare to find trouble with him. This Yakuza arrogantly takes out his gun. With a kick, the Onibaku specially made this Yakuza sprawl. Shinami was amazed by Aikichi. He was still cool as usual. Aikichi hates people who take an advantage of their position. It turned out that the head of the thug girls, Miki, was also fascinated by Aikichi. She was amazed and asked Aikichi to be her boyfriend. Even though Aikichi is single, but to dating with Thug's girl, of course, he doesn't want to. Aikichi immediately ran away. Aikichi and Ryuji are on vacation to a beach. They complained they were sick of being thugs because they couldn't get a good and beautiful woman. If they were still thugs, a maid approached them with a beautiful face that amazed them both. Ryuji was nervous. This beautiful girl is named Nagisa. Ryuji is so amazed by a girl, who makes him immediately forget Ayumi. They got to know each other, and seeing that, Aikichi became jealous. Ryuji looked engrossed in chatting with this servant girl. After finishing his food, Aikichi intends to leave there to give Ryuji a gift. It was a magic rubber. Ryuji immediately closed it. Nagisa could only stare in confusion. Luckily, Nagisa was an innocent girl. She had not realized what that thing was. Suddenly, Nagisa was called by another customer. These two people seemed to be thugs teasing her. Suddenly, Nagisa shouted. Ryuji was surprised to run back to see the two thugs who had mocked Nagisa earlier lying on the grass, and a motorcycle with a gangster logo that Ryuji knew, Midnight Angels, the famous group that had disbanded. It turns out Nagisa is not as innocent as Ryuji looks. Ryuji tried to call her, but Nagisa pushed her motorbike and left there. The atmosphere in the class was a lot of students who didn't come, and the teacher named Kenji was snoring in the class. Sejima could not stand this atmosphere and woke up this teacher. This teacher was shocked and told them to read by themselves, then left the class. They were surprised. Ryuji's schooling had spent a week. Aikichi thinks that he's been busy at the workshop. They are almost 17. It's time to consider the future. What will they do after growing up? Aikichi is jealous when Ryuji is busy in the workshop. He already knows what he is doing after graduation, and confidently, Aikichi asks Shinomi to date out. This girl immediately hits him when she finds out Aikichi is joking. This girl looks annoyed. Ryuji is working and helping at his senior workshop, Asami. Ryuji asked about something, the Midnight Angels Motorcycle Club. Asami was one of the frontmen, but Ryuji saw this logo a few days ago. Asami denied it. The club had been destroyed long ago and disbanded. Ryuji can't stand his curiosity. He is waiting in Nagisa's workplace, and this girl is going home. Ryuji immediately asks what is her relationship with Midnight Angels. Ryuji forced her to tell them about it. Suddenly, this girl was crying. She didn't understand what Ryuji meant. That motorbike belonged to thugs yesterday. She used it to leave that place, then took the motorbike on the road. Ryuji immediately apologized. He had mistakenly treated Nagisa to eating ice cream. The Midnight Angels gang has awakened. They started giving messages to clubs around Sonin. They don't need many clubs in the Sonin area. Only they will rule, and the unexpected leader is Nagisa. Brutally, she beat up the gang leader next door. Detective Yuda and his members come to the crime scene. They were taking the injured gang member to the ambulance. Suddenly, someone from the heavy crime division came. This person is named Inatsu. With Barbarian, he asked the members of this motorcycle gang, who did it? This young man admitted that people in the uniform of Midnight Angels did this. Inatsu, of course, can't believe it. This gang has long disappeared, and Yuda prevents him from beating him again and asking Inatsu not to interfere. These two divisions had spent for a long time not good relationship. Inatsu will join this problem. Mikoto and Tsukai to run into Onibaku class. Somin is in a frenzy because the Midnight Angels motorcycle gang reappears. The Midnight Angels gang appeared about 5 years ago. First, the members are almost 1,000 people. Every time they show up, the police officers must be in trouble. And when the gang is passed down to the second generation, problems arise. The club was messed up. The second generation leaders are Kamishima Toshiki and Akatsu. In their hands, Midnight Angels is in chaos and disbands. There is an internal conflict in it. While the police commander, led by Natsu, hunts every member of Midnight Angels. There is an unexpected power at that time which becomes an X-factor. The Onibaku suddenly came to beat both the leader. Police was even easier to destroy them. When Katsuyuki and his friends came home at the station, they were confronted by another gang who challenged them. Of course, no one gave in, they would start a fight. A man suddenly appeared named Kamishima. Shinomi recognized this person. She prevented Katsuyuki from wanting to fight this man. Shinomi knew that Kamishima was the former leader of the second generation of Midnight Angels. He would not be able to win. Onibaku defeated Kawashima, and now they have reappeared. Katsuyuki was not afraid. He used to be beaten by Onibaku, and now he would eliminate him. Kawashima challenged him to stand on the railroad tracks. That was indeed where the train stopped, but Katsuyuki didn't dare and went up. It turned out that Kamishima used to love Shinomi. If there were no Aikichi, she would be his. After he eliminates Onibaku, he will pick her up. Ryuji visits Nagisa's house. He looks nervous. Is this the time for him to use his magic rubber? Suddenly, Nagisa's parents come home. They greet Ryuji. It is the first time their daughter, Nagisa, brings friend to their house. They want to talk about something important. First, when they just moved into this house. Nagisa is still at school and is friends with a motorbike guy. Every time she comes home, she is always covered in blood. Her characteristic is changed. After his man friend was arrested, Nagisa was always at home. They felt that Nagisa has two personalities. The first becomes a good girl and the second be grumpy. Nagisa gets angry and her secret is revealed to her parents, and suddenly sounds her screaming. Ryuji immediately ran out to check it, and in the motorbike garage, Ryuji found a motorbike with the Midnight Angels logo. This gang was yesterday's motorbike gang. Nagisa had lied to him. Nagisa even got there. The second personality of this girl appeared. She had Ryuji. This girl was in pain, and her head was dizzy. She was telling Ryuji to stay away from her. She didn't know what was happening to her. Inside her had another personality. She screamed for Ryuji to leave. The angry character appeared again and then attacked Ryuji again. When interrupted by her parents, she also attacks them. This grumpy girl claimed that her name was Yakuza. Nagisa is just a weak girl, not herself. She is the queen of the motorcycle, Akatsu Junia's girlfriend. This person is the second generation of the Midnight Angels. Ryuji leaves there. He remembered something. The leader of the Midnight Angels in the first generation is Masaki, a senior whom he respects a lot. Masaki disbanded his gang because he had chosen the wrong successor. It was Onibaku who Masaki assigned to destroy the Midnight Angels and defeat the two leaders. This person also unites him and Aikichi. They used to be an enemy. Ryuji remembers all those memories. Now that brutal motorcycle gang is back. Commander Inatsu has come to meet Ida. In class, Kenji has just finished teaching. School principal Ida enters class. He takes out Katsuyuki for causing trouble at the station. Of course, Aikichi doesn't accept and protests. That's when Inatsu comes in. Starting today, their division will work together to eradicate naughty kids and Katsuyuki kicked out of school. Fujiko School only accepts good students now. Anyone who joins the motorcycle club will be kicked out. But Kenji doesn't take it and hits the school principal. He will fight anyone who treats his students like trash. The principal is furious. He will fire Kenji. Before leaving, Kenji advised his students to keep being themselves. Aikichi chased after Kenji and said he knew what he would do later. He would become a teacher like him. Ryuji finally went to school to meet Aikichi. He reminded his friend about their promises in the past. They would fight to prove who is the strongest. But before that, they had to protect Sonin City according to their pledge to their seniors Masaki. The Midnight Angels motorcycle gang is back. This is a person named Akatsu Junya. He just got out of custody, and Nagisa, who is becoming a Yakuza personality, is waiting outside. At a repair shop, the phone rings many times. The owner is Akira, a former Midnight Angels frontman, the first generation. He got a call from Masami. He was warned the second generation of Akatsu was free, so he was careful. He continued to warn that Akatsu was looking for something. It was too late. Akatsu got there. This man was looking for a motorbike and a cloak left behind by Midnight Angels founder Masaki. Akatsu is sure that he will reunite all the members of the Midnight Angels who have left and get absolute power. He doesn't get what he wants and decides to finish off Akira. While Ryuji and Aikichi were at the usual cafe, their other friends were discussing the Midnight Angels gang starting to riot, and their leader Akatsu was looking for something left by the old leader, the legendary cloak and motorbike, proof of the greatness of the Midnight Angels. Suddenly, Shinami came looking for Ryuji. Someone was looking for him. It was Nagisa. He stopped the anger of Aikichi. Ryuji explained that Nagisa has two personalities because of Akatsu. This girl has a sad fate. Nagisa wants to talk with Ryuji. With his friends watching, Ryuji talks with Nagisa on the beach. They didn't expect that a cute girl like this to be a Yakuza, the second-generation Midnight Angels front girl. Nagisa's past was very gloomy. She met Akatsu, thought he was a good guy, and was forced to torture the competitor of his motorcycle gang and told it the man with the baseball stick. Aikichi still doubts that girl has to be watching. It will be dangerous. She turned into Yakuza. Nagisa poured her heart out to Ryuji. She felt so lonely and suffering. Ryuji promised one thing to this girl. He would always be there for her and protect her. Shinami came to Aikichi, saying how lucky Ryuji got a good girl. Shinami has always liked Aikichi, but this man is always slow to realize and doesn't realize it. Ito calls him stupid and doesn't understand the girl. The next day, Ryuji takes Nagisa to his secret place. Here he spends the day when he's upset, an abandoned bus wreck. Nagisa likes that place. If she can be together with Ryuji, she will do it. They get on the bus. Ryuji asks her not to leave until the Midnight Angels' problem is over. And the Midnight Angels motorcycle gang starts rioting and chaos on the streets. Their old members, more and more people gather. The media reports the incident interviewing Akatsu, who stops. Akatsu says where is his girl Yakuza? He will look for her. Kawashima, Akatsu's rival, sees the broadcast. He gets even angrier. Akatsu takes control of the Midnight Angels gang, which should be his. He was badly injured in the face because of Akatsu, and it turns out that Nakashima kidnapped Shinami and said after taking care of Akatsu and Midnight Angels, he would destroy Onibaku. This young couple starts living there. Nagisa is cooking something for Ryuji, and suddenly the TV broadcast Akatsu's interview last night about Akatsu, who is looking for Yakuza. It is heard by Nagisa, spurring her other personality to appear and attack Ryuji. This girl is changed when Akatsu and his gang get there to pick up Nagisa. Ryuji screamed to wake her up. Akatsu gave a knife to Nagisa to finish off Ryuji. Two contradicting personalities made her head hurt so much. She didn't know which one was right. Nagisa's nature refused her to do cruel things to Ryuji. She had a hard time holding it back. It made this girl reckless and unstoppable to bear it again. Live with two personalities and one in her life. Ryuji stopped her and made the knife stab his body. It makes Nagisa very sad. Akatsu gets angry and wants to finish Ryuji. But Nagisa blocks him. This girl is hurt. She said she will not lose her past. In this world, only Ryuji believes in her, and this girl is unconscious. Akatsu laughs. Happily, he finished them both and doused them both with petrol, and then burned Ryuji. These two young people immediately rushed to the emergency room. Ryuji begged the doctor to put them in the same room. Anatsu got a report from his subordinate. Ryuji from Onibaku has been defeated and is in hospital. Anatsu intends to wait for these thugs to fight each other and finish each other, and then they move to eliminate them all. The Satsuri gang led by Kamishima moves, and they will attack the Midnight Angels. Anatsu laughs. This is according to his plan. While in Midnight Angels headquarters, the two groups meet. Kamishima said that he had been waiting for this moment. This wound will never forgive by him. These two gangs are fighting. Shinomi is stuck in a fight between these two gangs. Meanwhile, at the hospital, Nagisa and Ryuji are being treated. Aikichi came to visit him. He promised to clean this out and get them together without any disturbance. Ryuji apologized to Aikichi. He couldn't fight with him. Aikichi told him to stay behind to protect Nagisa. It turned out that the cloak and motorbike that Akatsu was looking for were in Aikichi. Before retiring, Misaki gave these two items to Aikichi. Only he could end the gang war in Sonen. Back at Midnight Angels headquarters, the battle was exciting. Akatsu managed to defeat Kamishima. Only he was left alone. All his gang members had been defeated. Shinomi, who didn't know anything, was also involved. This man doesn't want to give up. Instead, he'd end his own life rather than be defeated by Akatsu. Akatsu sees Shinomi. This girl is suitable to replace Yakuza. This person screams all gang members of Kamishima are the Midnight Angels gang from now on. They will finish off all the clubs in the Shomen area and submit to him. Only they can be there. That's when Aikichi, with the robe and the legendary motorbike belonging to the leader of the Midnight Angels old times. Aikichi said that Akatsu was a fake legend. He couldn't be Misaki. It makes Akatsu get angry and attack Aikichi. But dealing with iron, this man is nothing. He becomes a target of that fist. All their members are silent. Aikichi has the same level as their old leader. A member put gasoline on Aikichi. Akatsu immediately burns him, but that didn't stop Aikichi. All their members were scared to see the power of Onibaku. One last blow made this man unable to fight anymore. Aikichi said Misaki is dead. This is not something that Misaki wants. Midnight Angels has to disband. Akatsu can only cry seeing his dream robe destroyed. While at the hospital, Nagisa finally woke up. Her Yakuza personality appears. She rebels. Dr. Yuji and the nurses hold her. They are all shocked, and Nagisa's heartbeat and pulse stop. And suddenly, Nagisa regained consciousness. Her pulse returned, and finally, this girl managed to beat the worst part of her. Back to Midnight Angels headquarters. That's when Anatsu and the rest of the riot squad enter. They'll eliminate and capture everyone here. All these officers beat up all the gang members who were there, including Aikichi. He was beaten up. Shinomi screamed, begging for it to stop. That's when her friends from Fujiko High School came. They were going to take Aikichi home. They'd also fought the officers. Shinomi, who was going to be beaten, immediately saved by Aikichi. When Aikichi tells his feelings to Shinomi, he doesn't know how to say it, but for him, Shinomi is number one. All the commotion was over. After Yuta and the troop came, he advised Anatsu not to abuse his power. Those still young would change. Mariko apologizes and asks for all of her students to be forgiven. Commander Yuta said you have a good teacher. He will let them go this time. Sejima likes Yuta's character. One day he will become police too. Finally, all Sonen problems are over. At this beach, Onibaku duo promised to prove who was the strongest. Aikichi said one day he will become a teacher. Ryuji said he would open a workshop and propose to Nagisa, which means that from now Onibaku was officially disbanded. They used to fight every day on the beach. Misaki, who used to give advice, better they both made a gang. After graduation, they fought again to determine who was the strongest, and that day, Aikichi and Ryuji will fight. They were as vital. And when it's spring, a sunny day at the beach, the girls play volleyball. The ball is thrown and picked up by Sejima. Sejima nervously returns the ball, but that makes the girls afraid, making him laughing by his friends. Tsukai, who intervenes, becomes an impingement, and finally, Ryuji and Nagisa are back together. Ryuji promised he'd always be there for her. That kiss, witnessed by her friends, made Nagisa embarrassed. Aikichi got angry. Why did he casually kiss his girlfriend? Sejima taunted him. He's been dating Shinomi for several months, but hadn't yet dared kiss her, and he was teased out loud. Makoto stopped those who were fighting and took everyone take a picture together. Shonen in 1992 forever. Finally, the series about the beautiful adventures of youth ends.